there crafters, it's Louise with you today on behalf of Kitaholic Kits, and I am sharing a scrapbook layout featuring the January 21 kit. This is my first layout. Now, as you would have seen, we got the gel press with the mixed media kit as part of this month's kit, and I have never played with a gel press before. I've seen people use it, but I've never actually used one for myself. So firstly, I've gathered a couple of supplies. So I've got my spray bottle, I have got some white gesso, black acrylic paint, some baby wipes, cloth, brayer, and some A4 card. I've also got my acrylic paints that came with the mixed media kit. So I've watched a few videos of people using the gel press, and look, I'm not an expert at this. This is the first time I've used it, so please bear with this video. I am basically just exploring and having a little bit of a play around to see what I can come up with. So this is a good learning experience for you because you get to actually see what I'm creating and how I'm making the different elements. Now, I'm normally quite a clean scrapper, so it actually really hurts my OCD to have that dirty stencil and dirty brayer sitting there. But I've set myself up, and what I'm trying to do is to create without that necessary need to stay clean. So I am really just having a little bit of a play. I've got lots of different pieces of cardstock on the go here at different levels, and you can see that I'm getting all sorts of different areas of interest on those pieces of card. So for this, I'm recording the whole thing and I'm going to show you the whole video, but eventually what I'm going to do is go to the finished product and let you have a look at what I created and what I liked out of what I created and what I didn't like. So it's sort of just a little bit of fun exploration. What I did learn, the main thing that I probably learned, is about the creating of the layers and sort of the different, to use those different pieces of card, because you'll create different layers on each of them. So this is me having a little bit of a play around with the gel press. I know it's not a technique that everybody is going to love, but it was fun to play with. I think if I ever have the desire to get messy again, then yes, I may pull out the gel press, but it's certainly not something that for me as a scrapper I'm going to use all the time. Now, I also have got my little art journal here, and I'm trying to sort of save anything that's sort of additional art to actually use in my art journal to create different bits of interest and different things going on here. So as you can see, what I quite like is if I have, you can see that sort of piece of A4 there, is the combination of the brayer work and the stencil work and the gel press. So you can see that it really is just about building layers, and because it's quite messy and not very structured, I think that's why I struggled with it a little bit. But it's all about just the combination of the stencils and the different acrylic colours and how you use them. But I really like the brayer work. So once you've spread the acrylic onto the gel press, I like to just use the acrylic that's left on the brayer and spread that around the page. That's sort of one of the most fun parts of this whole experience that I quite enjoyed. Now, what I do is I actually go ahead and start to add some darker colors here. So you can see I'm bringing in the marine blue, I'm going to use the black and the forest green, and that's actually where I start to lose the focus a little bit. It gets a little bit too dark for my liking. So once I've sort of had a little bit of a play around here, as you can see, I am going to just take the A4 pieces that I thought were quite successful, and we're going to go through and use those on the finished layout that you saw at the end. So I am going to clean a lot of this up off camera. I'm going to go and wash some stencils. I'm going to wash my gel press. I'm going to clean everything up. Here is where I'm show you which ones I think are good. So there's a definite no, the dark one didn't work for me. I really like how this one looks. I like the combination of colors. It's got quite a grungy feel to it. And I toyed with the idea of cutting it into circles, but I decided that I'm going to go with tags. So I'm going to cut it up and turn them all into tags, quite simply just with a pair of scissors and my cutter. And I'm going to pop holes in them and then put some string in them as well. Now I'm using a white background instead of a patterned paper because the tags themselves, that sort of graffiti look that I've got going on there, really do add quite an area of interest. So I didn't want to overwhelm the layout and have it actually be too much going on. So that's why I chose a white background, even though it does develop into a bit more of a grungy background, as you'll see. So I'm basically just playing around. I've chosen some photos that relate to the Fearless title, and I'm deciding how I'm going to attach this to the layout. So it's at this point that I think, okay, these little tags, they need some black around the outside, and I decided to run them all in a line. And initially it was to go down the right hand side, but I decided to put it at the top of the layout. Now that I've got that as part of the area of interest in that top section, I need to go and acrylic paint some of those areas on the background. So I start with a little sponge, and then I just go in with my finger with that bit of marine blue paint, and I'm just going to spread sort of an area around behind where I'm going to put my photo. Now, you could use various different tools, but I quite like the way it looks when you spread it around with your finger, because it sort of is that messy, grungy look without, you know, being too neat or tidy. So I'm also using the mango over the top with a stencil that just came out of my stash, just to, again, give it that sort of graffiti look. For some reason, the tags at the top really have a graffiti feel to me, and that's what I'm sort of going for in finishing this layout. So I've got a little bit of black splatter. As you can see, I've also colored my Fearless title with the marine blue. I'm going to add some stars and leave this layout quite simple. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.